Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hello, little skeletons. Welcome back to an episode of What the Fuck Wednesday, which is very, very needed right now.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, and we have some exciting things going on, right, Amber?
Maybe.
What did we do? We did something that we haven't actually gotten to do before.
Don't put me on the spot like that. That's not cool. Like, I know the answers.
You're wearing it.
That's my point. I know the answers, but when you put me on the spot, it's like the whole deer caught in headlights thing. It's like everything leaves my brain. Like, I don't know.
We have merch.
We have merch.
We have merch or merches. A limited drop merches, as my kids would say.
And
yes.
You can have your own Billy the Skelly on a shirt.
You absolutely can. And it's so cute. And he's like in a spooky forest. And it says, stay safe and make good choices. And there's spooky trees and gravestones and skulls and all kinds of stuff. And it's so cute. And I'm so excited that Bonfire reached out to us asking if we wanted to collab and design something for us, because I don't know how to design cute things. So I'm really glad that you did it for us.
I'm lucky my kids turned out as cute as they did. So
there's no I don't know how to make cute things, but it's awesome. And we will put the link in the show notes and all of the socials, and make sure to keep posting pictures and updates. And they are available from now to November 28th. And there are t-shirts, hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, and long sleeve shirts.
Something for everybody.
In multiple colors. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a variety for everyone. I have a friend that bought the t-shirt in like the forest green, and it looks so good in the forest green because of like, you know, it's a foresty scene. Mm-hmm. And so there's something about that green color that just hits different. It looks so good. And I can't wait for my crew neck sweatshirt.
I'll admire everybody else in their colors from afar while I stay here in my black.
You know, that's fine. There's also gray, but there's not many color options because we are goth queens over here, and that's just how we like it. We like the black and grays and darks, and that's where we live. So please go check it out. WeirdTrueCrime.com. We'll have it on the website too. So we'll make it very easy for you to get to. And that's the big thing we have going on, other than, yes, our children are always going to be the death of us. It's drama all the time, or sickness. Yes, I'm sick again. And I've been sick for like the last month. But we'll get through it. It's fine.
Yeah, both my kids have been sick, and I'm just praying that I don't succumb to the plague.
I really well, I mean, no, your immune system is pretty strong.
It's gotten real nice the past few years. I used to be like the walking pneumonia queen, strep throat constantly, and now like everybody in my house had the flu and strep, and I walked out unscathed.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
It's that time of year.
Unfortunately.
Just strap in.
I know, which is why we're here today for a What the Fuck Wednesday, Am I the Asshole Funeral edition. Oh, I'm so excited that you put this one together.
Yeah. This was, so it's probably not going to be as funny as our usual, like, What the Fuck Wednesday content, because, I mean, it's kind of funeral related. But stay tuned towards the end, and we do have a couple of pretty hilarious obituaries to share with you, just to give you a little bit of a hit of that dopamine. But
I'm excited. I love a funny obit.
I'm almost tempted to like write my own for when I kick it.
People do.
So my kids and husband or whoever I die before, they don't have to do it, and I can make it as funny and dark as I want. Mm-hmm. And nobody can get mad at them for releasing it. I'll be like, no, bitch, I did this. Thank you.
I did this. Don't blame anybody else. And I'm not here to yell at. So.
Okay, but before we get into all of that, let's start off with our riddle. Two cars were involved in an accident in the center of town. The man who was driving a little green car had overtaken a big black car. The driver misjudged the distance between him and the oncoming traffic and had to swerve back in, causing the black car to swerve and crash into a shop window. When the occupants of the cars were examined, everyone in the green car was okay, but in the black car, one man was dead. However, the driver of the green car was not charged with manslaughter. Why? And stay tuned to the end to find out the answer.
Number 1, my 14-year-old male mom died just over a week ago, and her funeral is in 3 days. That's sad. I don't want to go to the funeral. I don't see the point. All it's going to do is confirm that she's not coming back. This is probably going to make me sound insane, but if I go, then that means she is dead and definitely never coming back. But if I don't go, then she might not be dead and she might still come back. So I just think it's way better if I don't go. Plus, if I go, I might start being sad and not doing anything like my dad is. So by not going, it's actually way better for my mental health because at the moment I feel fine. Like, obviously I miss her, but I'm okay about it. I told my dad 2 days ago that I'm not going, and he got really annoyed. He said that I regret it in the future and I should just say bye to her. I told him it was a really easy decision to make, and that just made him way more angrier. He told a few family members, and they've all been trying to convince me to go to the funeral, and some of them are saying I don't care about my mom because I haven't reacted about her not being here at all. It doesn't mean I don't care, though. I just don't really feel anything. Am I the asshole? Oh, poor kid.
You know, one day he may regret later in life that he didn't go.
Yeah.
But right now, he's making the decision for himself, and that's A-okay. Funerals are not for the person that passed away anyway. They're for the living. And if it's not going to benefit him, there's no reason to go.
No.
And
And
I don't think he's the asshole for that.
He's not the asshole. He is trying to process
And grieve in his own way.
What happened. And it's not cool at all that he has family members that are saying he doesn't care. It's not that he doesn't care. He's in shock. He's a 14-year-old kid that lost his mom.
And we've said before, everybody grieves in their own way. Everybody processes things completely different. And it's better for him to protect his mental state by not going.
I agree. The only issue I see is because he is 14, how do you really think that his family is going to respect his decision? Or do you think they're going to force him to go anyway because he's a kid?
Yeah, that's something to... Because, I mean, well, he's 14. He's old enough to stay home alone. So there's not an issue of not having, somebody else having to miss out to stay with him.
Right.
But, yeah,
Which is also sad because then they're not respecting his wishes and what he needs in that moment.
Yep.
Oh, man. Not the asshole. I don't think anybody's being an asshole. It's just a hard situation to be in,
All of
and
this
I think
is, yeah.
The tradition of, well, we're having a funeral and everybody needs to go because that's what you do. I understand that, but that, like you said, the funerals are for the living. They're not for the dead. Like his mom's going to know that he cares about her, whether he's there or not.
Yep.
So, oh man, poor kid. Reddit voted him not the asshole, as they should.
Good job, Reddit. Okay, number 2. Last weekend was my dad's funeral. I planned it since my mom has been a wreck. My mom and sister are not close. I am also not close to her, and I think she is a dick. So I am probably biased. Okay.
Wow.
My sister dresses in the emo style, so skulls, collars, lots of blacks and reds, heavy makeup, and so on. I truly don't care most of the time. She can wear what she wants. This is an issue at important events. My wedding, she did this even after she agreed to tone it down. She is always going full out with her outfits. I don't understand why she won't ever tone it down. For the funeral, she came in wearing a short skirt, band t-shirt, heavy makeup, fishnets, and jewelry, collar thing, and skulls. I was very upset that she couldn't dress appropriately for a funeral, and I told her to leave. She got pissed, and I told her to go home and put on a respectable outfit. She stayed until my mom told her to get the fuck out since she can't dress appropriately. She left and didn't come back. A lot of people who saw her outfit agree she was out of line for a funeral. My sister has been calling me a jerk, and some people are saying I went too far.
No, not the asshole. Like, there's a time and place. And you can dress the way you want to dress and still be classy about it. And what she wore was not classy.
I don't think that I kind of lean more towards the goth side and emo, whatever myself. Mm-hmm. But I always look like I'm getting ready to go to a funeral because I'm always just wearing black. Mm-hmm. And whenever I'm feeling sassy, I throw some skulls or some spikes or whatever on. But like if I was going to a legitimate funeral, I'd probably take off the skulls and leave the jack-o'-lantern purse at home and, the Linkin Park t-shirt and all of that. Just like you said.
Band t-shirt to your father's funeral?
But as you know, I like to play devil's advocate here.
Right.
She's also grieving somebody and she's having to change how, when they dress like that, they're expressing themselves. That's who they are. Yeah. They're not doing it for show. They're not doing it for attention most of the time. They're doing it because that's who they are. And so she's basically being told, you can't be who you are today.
Yeah.
Because we don't like it.
I see it that way too.
On that aspect, it's like, they could have given her a little grace and been like, hey, lose the skulls, lose this, and then come back and then whatever. Mm-hmm. But no, so I don't know.
See that. Also, it would be embarrassing to be in her position, especially say her dad was fine with how she dressed mm-hmm. and accepted it and, maybe appreciated it. And she was like, cool, I'm going to doll myself up because dad liked it or dad thought it was cool mm-hmm. and dad accepted me for that. And then to be like, nope, we're not going to accept you for being like this. Go home. I wouldn't come back either. That would be embarrassing.
Nope. Exactly.
I can see both sides.
Because of who I am, I'm leaning more towards it was kind of I think everybody was kind of an asshole here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could have been handled it's a sensitive topic. It's a tough time, but it could have been handled a little bit better. They could have given her more grace. She's also with family. She could have taken into account okay, they don't want me to go as hard. Then I'll wear my fishnets and my boots and I'll just wear a plain black shirt instead of, a band t-shirt and leave the skulls and spikes at home.
Right.
So I say kind of everybody sucks, but Reddit voted not the asshole. So they were in more of agreement with you at the beginning.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, even though I don't think it's weird. It's I don't think any of them are assholes. I think it's just a hard situation to be in.
Yeah. Everything sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of it sucks. Yeah. Interesting, Reddit. Okay. Here we go. Number 3. I lost my brother in a motorcycle accident 3 weeks ago at the age of 21. Uh-oh.
Oh, this one makes me angry. I got to take off my sweater for it.
Uh-oh. Amber's getting ready. Okay. This was sudden and devastating beyond measure. I lived 3 towns away from my entire family, and I didn't know about it right away. My husband was calling when I walked into the room where my phone was on vibrate and charging. I answered and he asked why I didn't answer my sister's calls. I asked why and whether she called him. He said yes, then proceeded to tell me he received the news of a family member's death from her. I was shaking at this point while I was waiting for him to tell me more, but he said, "Guess who?" What? I angrily told him to stop it and tell me, but he still thought it's fine to ask me to guess. That's when I lost it on him because my nerves were done. I yelled at him, then hung up and immediately called my sister, and she told me it was our youngest brother. I had an awful reaction because this is my baby brother that I adored so much, and my husband knew how much I cared about him. I drove to my hometown 6 hours away by myself, and my husband was mad after he found out I didn't wait for him to take him with me. I told him I didn't want him there after how he treated me and played my emotions like that. He said he was trying to prevent me from being traumatized and didn't want to dish the news all of a sudden. He wanted to come, but I said I'd have kicked him out if he showed up, which got him pissed, yelling that I had no right to rob him of saying goodbye to his favorite brother-in-law. He said my anger was misplaced and I was taking it out on him for no reason other than being the bearer of bad news, and that nobody wants to be that person, but he tried to be as nice as he could about it. I've talked to him since, despite him calling me to come home so we can talk.
Oh my God. Okay, now you see why, like, oh my God, who does that?
What a fucking moron.
Yes, he's right. Nobody likes being the bearer of that sort of news. It's not fun news to deliver. However, trying to make the person play a fucking guessing game on somebody's life is not the way to. This made me so mad when I read it.
Somebody in your family died. Guess who?
Yeah, guess who?
That's just divorce.
No, she's not the asshole.
Divorce.
He's the asshole.
And the fact that he doesn't understand why he's an asshole.
Oh, and then he started playing the victim. Like, you're going to rob me of my opportunity to say bye to my favorite brother-in-law. If he was your favorite brother-in-law, you could have had a little bit more, I don't know, couth with how you delivered the fucking news.
Absolutely. Oh. What would you do in that situation? Yeah, to me, that would be grounds for divorce.
That would,
no joke.
You are not the type of person I need in my life if you think that was appropriate.
No, that's not how you tell your spouse that their sibling died.
No, and I have dark humor. Dark humor, but that's not okay.
You have dark humor, but you know when it's appropriate.
Time and place.
Yeah.
Fucking time and place. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
You see, I'm all red, like it made me mad.
That's off. I'm just like shook.
Yeah.
I'm like, how
there's really people out there like that.
Oh, man. Reddit voted not the asshole. Yeah, no, she's not the asshole.
She's not the asshole. No.
Absolutely not.
No. Good God almighty. Okay.
Mm.
All right, number 4, moving on. Dropping blood pressure. We're good. We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Me, 31 female, and my mother-in-law don't have a close relationship. She's civil towards me, but can be a bit passive-aggressive at times, and we tend to disagree oftentimes. We live in a different state. Father-in-law passed away suddenly, and mother-in-law told me and my husband to come attend the funeral. She booked our tickets to fly to her state. But the issue started when my husband told me that we couldn't sit together on the plane because Mom had booked him a first-class ticket while I got economy. I was flabbergasted by this. I tried asking him why, but he urged me to suck it up and we'll talk about it later. In that particular moment, I felt so much humiliation and contempt. I felt like she was treating me as less than, even in her hard times. I decided to not go and just go back home. My husband was shocked by my decision to go home and tried to convince me to just go, but I declined. He went alone and I ended up missing the funeral. He was livid, just calling me and texting nasty things, calling me petty and spoiled. He said that I should be grateful his mom paid for my ticket to begin with, then said she doesn't owe me a goddamn thing. I argued about how she could have just booked us both in economy if money was an issue. But he called me pathetic for thinking about it when his dad just died. He said it was cruel what I did and that his mom and family will never forget that I missed the funeral over ridiculous reasons. Am I the asshole for going home over this? Edited to add, one of the reasons I didn't settle for the economy ticket was because I wanted to sit next to my husband and support him. He sobbed the whole ride to the airport and I didn't want to leave his side. I was shocked when he told me we couldn't sit together and how he said it like he had no issue with it. So I'm on the fence about this one because, like, she just said she wanted to be there for her husband in this, and like she could have sucked it up to just be there, but
and then
also
she went home.
and then she went home instead. Like she was just saying, she wanted to be with him, but she went home instead and missed it. But at the same time, why? That's like, I see her side. Like, that's just a slap in the face. Like, you are not deserving of the same treatment to my son. You can still come, but you're not going to be treated the same. So, at the same time, I'm like, fuck you too. I'm not going.
Well, the fact that this woman's husband died and she's still going to be so petty as to go through the trouble of booking them tickets in separate
classes. Yeah.
Wow. Like, what did this girl do to this woman? Like,
married her son.
She's just one of those women that's like so attached to her sons. This is, I'm on the fence too. I think, yeah, I can see what it's about. Just the whole thing sucks. Everybody sucks. Nobody was right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I understand why she was like, if I'm going to be treated like shit when my husband is grieving his father, then fuck it, I'm out.
It kind of, like, she had said that she hadn't gotten along with the mother-in-law for the longest time. So there's no telling what other kind of petty bullshit that she'd been done. And you can only be treated that way so many times before you reach your limit and just like, no, fuck you. And so this was her fuck you moment. It just sucks that, she couldn't also be there to support her husband.
Right. And the fact that the husband, I understand he's grieving, but he also needs to try to see it from her point of view. She's not being spoiled and petty for being pissed about the situation.
My mommy loves me and got me a first class, but you have to set economy. There's nothing wrong with that. Homeboy? You want to rethink that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I vote everyone sucks. You say everyone sucks. Reddit says everyone sucks too.
Why can't people just be civil? Like, this is not the time to be petty about family drama.
No.
It's not at all. God. It's just, this kind of stuff brings out the worst in people. It's, okay. Number 5. I, 31 male, my brother Tony was 30 male, and he passed away last Sunday. He was very ill, and I've been taking care of him for the past 3 years. We went to foster care as toddlers because our parents did drugs and our aunts and uncles couldn't keep us in their homes. We reconnected with our biological family when we were in our early 20s. We were never adopted, but were fostered by the most amazing lady, our Mama Rosa, who fostered us from ages 12 and 13 until we became 18. We both lived in her home even after that. She is the closest thing to a mother I have. Our biological parents are now cleaned, and we have an all right relationship. My brother wanted his funeral to basically be a surprise party, and I threw it. Mama Rosa helped me so much, and we spent most of the day crying, but threw the party anyway. When people, mostly friends, came to the funeral, they got a party hat and a drink and a short letter from Tony explaining why it's a party. That's so sweet. His friends, knowing him, took it pretty well, laughed it out, cried it out with me and Mama Rosa, and honored his memory. When our bio parents and a few aunts came, they lost their shit when they saw what was going on. My bio dad called me a disgrace, and bio mom said I should never have disrespected their son like that. I explained why it is a party in the first place, and they just said they are disappointed and should have known not to expect better from me. After they called me some names, I told them to just leave. They left. Am I the asshole? No. He gave his brother what he wanted. And his parents hadn't even been in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, they had an all right relationship since they came back in the picture, but they weren't
there. But they obviously didn't know him that well.
Nope.
If they were that offended by it.
Yep. Like, that's what I want my funeral to be. Like, y'all have a party. Get plastered. Watch some scary movies. Listen to music as loud as you possibly can. Like, yes, like, I love that idea.
I do too.
For the living
it's
anyway.
A celebration of life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they're He's a disgrace because he followed his brother's wishes. Yeah, okay. No, buddy,
Wow.
you're not the asshole.
The fact that he, through his pain, took the time to create a celebration like this and try to laugh through it says a lot about how much he valued his brother and what he wanted.
I think it says a lot about the woman who raised them.
Absolutely. Yeah. She is the woman who raised them, not the biological parents.
Nope.
So,
good job, Mama Rosa.
God. Yeah, Reddit voted not the asshole. And we agree.
Wholeheartedly.
Not the asshole. Yeah. Ugh.
Number 6. My 36 female children's 12-year-old boy, 9-year-old girl, father, 43 years old, passed away after a long struggle with cancer 3 weeks ago. His death was expected, and the kids knew their dad was very sick, but still, I couldn't get them ready to handle this kind of event. Their mental and physical health is my one top priority, and I want them to grieve their dad properly. My current husband, 37-year-old, saw no need for the kids to attend the funeral after I said they were going with me. He said they're still young, but I said they had every right to be there for the final goodbye. He suggested he go with us, and I wasn't sure, but I contacted my former in-laws, and they said it was fine. My husband drove us to the funeral and kept making comments to the kids, telling them how to behave, which was uncalled for. We got there, and I brought the kids to stand near their grandparents while my husband kept introducing himself to strangers, then went to stand next to the kids. I was standing a distance away, but I could hear the kids crying. I then started hearing my husband telling them to quiet down repeatedly. Not gonna lie, I felt bothered, wishing he'd stop. While the kids were crying loudly, he said, "Stop crying. Really, there's no need for this. It's not like he can hear you." And the kids just started sobbing at this point. I was stunned. I looked and saw my in-laws staring at me. I felt horrible. I walked up to him and whispered I needed a minute with him. I made sure we were away and lost my temper, asking what he was doing. He said he was just trying to comfort the kids and help them get a hold of their emotions. I told him what he said was horrible and everyone heard it. He tried to argue that he was just trying to help, but I said he had no right to tell the kids how to grieve their father and demanded that he leave the funeral. But he threw a fit and said I was overreacting. I insisted, then he left later. After the funeral, the kids started avoiding me. They wanted to stay with their aunt, and I went home by myself and found my husband there waiting with an angry look on his face. He picked an argument saying I shouldn't have kicked him out of the funeral after he came to support me and the kids, but I told him what he said made the kids refuse to even come home with me. He said the kids are using him as an outlet for their anger after he's been generous with his time and effort, and this is how we repay him? By making him out to be the bad guy? I refused to keep going, but he kept pushing for an apology for this blatant disrespect I showed him. For more details, my husband never had a good relationship with my children's father. I was confused when he said he wanted to come to the funeral, but then I thought he did it for the kids. Am I the asshole? There's a lot in that one, huh?
It's not like he can hear you.
Yeah.
Their dad died.
12-year-old boy and a 9-year-old little girl.
Who lost their father to cancer.
Yeah. The open mouth shocked expression. Yeah, that's...
What a controlling piece of shit.
And then he was the victim for being so disrespected.
Yeah. When you're going to act like that around this man's kids and his family, and they're grieving the loss of their loved one. Like, why did you even come, bro?
Because he was helping.
I think that he was jealous of the attention that this man who died was getting.
Kind of looks like it. You know, he was sitting there introducing himself to several strangers before the funeral started. Like, what
are you trying to do?
If you're going to go to be there supportive for your wife and her kids, then like you stay with them. You stay silent. You're there, not...
It's okay. Like it doesn't...
Not social hour.
It doesn't make stepdad, new husband's place any less important it's okay to open up space to grieve someone that was so important to the people that you love. Yep. It's okay. Like, I heard a story once about something like this where I think the husband had been married before and they had kids, and the wife died of cancer, and then he remarried. And every year, his new wife made a cake on like the anniversary of that wife's death or her birthday or something. Like, she celebrated with them because they had kids together and stuff. And it was like, let's remember your mom. This person was very important to you. She was a part of your life for many years. It's okay to make space for that person. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make you mean any less to anybody.
And actually, sounds like he was a little insecure.
Absolute. What a piece of shit.
She's definitely not the asshole for that.
No,
in my
he
opinion,
is such an asshole.
He's
the
asshole.
Poor kids, not even wanting to go back to where he was.
Yeah, can you blame them?
No, I want to know what happened after this. Sorry,
I'm kidding.
Just like,
Reddit also voted not the asshole.
No. Number 7. Long story short, my 37 male father, 57 male, abandoned me and my 2 siblings at a young age, leaving us at the mercy of our abusive mother. He later remarried my stepmother, 52 female, and had a do-over family. I kept contact with him after becoming an adult, mostly to keep tabs on my 2 new half-siblings. My stepmother reached out to inform me that he had died from a stroke and they did not want me to attend the funeral because it was for their family. She told me that she would call the police if I came. I told them that he was also my father, whether or not I was a part of their family. I've had a chip on my shoulder my entire adult life for having to carry the weight of his decisions, so I admit I was not very level-headed with my decision-making. All I wanted was closure, and she had the audacity to even attempt to deny me that. My last surviving sibling and I attended his funeral anyway, planning to give a speech in front of their family about his original family he abandoned and the horrors he left us to. I also contacted a lawyer about contesting his will. As expected, my stepmother called the police. We weren't able to finish our speech, so I just left it on the podium and talked to the officers. We showed our birth certificates and pictures proving he was our father, and we had a right to be there, but they didn't care. They kept saying it's a civil matter and we needed to leave or be detained. I filed a complaint against the officers, but it probably won't go anywhere. Am I the asshole?
We've said it before, time and place. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Where do you start? Where do you start? Okay. I understand that he obviously has a lot of baggage that he needs to work through. It's awful that his father did them that way. And I appreciate that he wanted to stay in contact so he could have a relationship with his half-siblings. But it sounds like his father's new wife was also a bit of a cunt if she is going to tell him that he can't come to his own father's funeral.
Yeah.
But it is still his father's funeral, and that is not the place to make a scene like this.
No. Nope.
Does he have the right to be there? Absolutely he does.
Yeah.
Maybe come and sit in the back.
Sit in the back. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't make a scene.
No.
Get your closure.
But
and move on with your
day. He went there trying to start.
To stir some shit up, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. And there's no reason to file a complaint against the police officers because they're just trying to keep the peace. And they're right, it's a civil matter.
Yep.
Like, I feel very sorry for this person that he went through what he went through.
Yeah. But it's also like, okay, so the stepmom may or may not have been a grade A human being, but his half-siblings, none of that was their fault. They didn't ask to be put in that situation either. And so him doing that also put them in a shitty situation at their father's funeral as well.
Yeah.
So I I think everybody is an asshole. Everybody
Everybody
sucks. Everything sucks.
Everything sucks. Reddit agrees. Everyone sucks.
Okay, number 8. I spent 6 years in prison and I have been out 8. When I was in prison, I met a man, Scott, who had already been in there 15 years. He was very much respected by most of the prison and almost everybody left him alone. For some reason, he ended up taking a liking to me and he helped me navigate the prison scene and gave me some really good advice on how to stay out of trouble. He essentially became the father that I never really had without sounding too corny. The prison that I was in was super rough, and without his advice, I don't know that I would have made it out. He got out just before I did. When I got out, I got my shit together and eventually met my now wife. We have a son together who is now 4. I heard last week that Scott has passed away. I was super upset and knew that I had to go to his funeral to pay my respects. I confirmed with Scott's daughter, who I've met before, that it was okay if I attended due to COVID restrictions. Only a certain number of people can attend. My wife, of course, knows about my time in prison and Scott. I told her that he had died and that I was planning on going to his funeral. She got upset with me and told me that I have a family now and that I should be focusing on my family, not people I knew in prison. I told her I wouldn't be here without Scott helping me, but she refused to agree with me. Am I the asshole for planning to go to the funeral? No, dude. No. He was like the father you never had. He was an important person in your life, as he said. He may not have been there to meet his wife and have his son if it wasn't for that man. So no, not an asshole. She sounds a little insecure.
She sounds a little insecure, and I'm wondering if maybe she's worried because this was a man he met in prison, how that would come across if people knew he was going to the funeral of a man he met in prison, or like,
but who the fuck
is he
cares?
Gonna meet? Exactly, who the fuck cares? But I'm like, why would she take issue with that?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. If she's not comfortable with it, then she doesn't have to go.
No, but it doesn't mean that he's gonna like backslide or that anything bad's gonna come of it. You know, I feel like that's maybe where her insecurities are.
Maybe. I don't understand.
I understand the whole, you can't go to the funeral of somebody that you cared about, that you knew in maybe like a different time or before me or because of XYZ. Like, for instance, in 2017, when my ex that I dated for 5 years passed away, I was already married with 2 kids, but I still went to his funeral because he was a very big part of my life for a very long time.
Right.
And I still owed that to him and his family, who I knew very closely for many years, and all of his friends that we had in common. And as a spouse, as a good spouse, it is your job to be supportive of that and understand that it doesn't make you less than because they want to go show up for somebody that mattered to them in their life and made them who they are now.
Yep. And I like playing devil's advocate. So I've been trying to think of the other, like, how could it possibly be justified for her to, and I got nothing. So if anybody has something, let me know, because I got nothing.
No.
Not the asshole. He's not an asshole.
No, not the asshole at all.
Reddit agreed.
I hope he got to go.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Okay. Number 9. My sister and I are pretty close, and we were friends with Kat. Kat recently passed away, and her funeral viewing is this weekend. My sister Sammy has a fear of the dead. She strongly believes in ghosts and even has trouble with any meat due to her beliefs. I called her up and told her I can pick her up to go on Saturday since I knew she was having car trouble. She informed me she will not be going. I asked why, and she told me she can't be around a ghost. I asked her if she was joking and told her she can just stand in the back, but everyone is expecting her to go. We are close friends with the family. I told her she needs to go or she will blow up all her relationships, including mine, the one with me. She said that won't happen, and I told her that family will never forgive her, and I don't think I will either since we have known her for years. She hung up, and I got a call from my mom for making her cry and being a jerk for telling her what will happen if she doesn't go. So one, it sounds like the sister has some other things going on that she needs to work through and obviously hasn't. Two, I understand that the person who wrote this, the OP, is upset because her sister didn't go or doesn't want to go. But it's not okay for her to sit there and assume that everybody is going to hate her and tell her that everybody's going to hate her and never talk to her because she didn't go to this funeral. Because like you said earlier, people grieve in different ways. What's good for one person isn't good for somebody else. And she needs to respect that she's not comfortable with it.
It's not fair for essentially guilting her into going to and doing something she does not want to do, that she's not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not going to benefit anybody if she goes.
No, what happens if she goes and she has a panic attack because she's so overwhelmed or scared because of whatever it is that's going on with her that's making her have these feelings? No.
I think we have our first, like, tried and true OP asshole.
I really do too. And I hate to... She's an asshole, but I understand her frustration. The way she handled it is not cool.
Right. Yes. We're using the term asshole very delicately in these situations. Just their actions were sphincter-like.
No.
Basically.
No. She reacted in a very selfish way without trying to understand where her sister was coming from and how she was feeling in that moment. Because if it were me, if my sister were like, I knew they had these issues and like were very scared of the dead and being around the dead, why would you make them go to a funeral?
I wouldn't even ask if they wanted to go.
No. I'd be like, I know this is going to be too much for you.
I would probably like say, hey, you are welcome to come if you feel that it would help you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Exactly. But forcing somebody to do something that they're terrified of is not cool. Yeah. And Reddit also voted asshole. So our first asshole of the day.
Got our first one. We're already on number 10, so these are all fake names. Me, 26 female, and my sister Ellie, 28 female, are very close. Ellie's getting married in about 3 weeks. I'm her maid of honor, and it's all very exciting, but also stressful. Especially so close to the wedding, making sure it all goes as smoothly as possible. My boyfriend Jack's, 25 male, family is Canadian. They've recently had a family tragedy, so Jack is flying out next week to attend the funeral. Of course, I have no issue with him going, but he asked me to come as well. I said, sorry, that's really not possible since Ellie's wedding is coming up not long after, and it's just a lot on my plate right now. And it's not like a simple drive. It's in a whole other country. I've been helping with a lot of the planning and generally being there for her, and Ellie doesn't want me to go now either. Jack's been pretty upset and not talking to me much. People that know of this are torn, saying that I'm right, but a couple of people are telling me that I'm being selfish. Am I the asshole?
It's not like the wedding is at the same time.
No, it's not. It's around the time, but...
a couple weeks later.
Yeah. So this isn't an update from the OP. This is a comment from here. So they have found out that it was her sister's wedding in 3 weeks from the funeral. So they're still a month away. Mm-hmm. And his brother or his family had a tragedy. Her boyfriend's brother and his wife, so sister-in-law, died. So the family tragedy was that the boyfriend's brother passed away, like a close person. And the funeral's in a whole other country. It's Canada. It's, stone's throw. Hey neighbor, how you doing? How's it going up there?
Yeah.
It's not like freaking Indonesia.
No.
And the comment says OP's reasoning basically boils down to, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And everything else is just a sad attempt at a spin to make her not the asshole.
Yeah, no, she just didn't want to go. You can put your sister's shit on hold.
Your sister's still alive.
Yeah, to go be there for your boyfriend who just lost his brother. And sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a selfish. It's Canada, like you said. It's right there. Like it's not. Right there. I mean, it's a distance from Texas. I would still go to a funeral in Canada. Yeah. But wow,
It's not.
No, such an asshole.
Such an asshole. We have our second one and final one of the day because Reddit also voted she was an asshole for that.
I don't understand people's logic. Just if you don't want to go, just be like, I don't want to go.
No, I'm sorry. Like,
you obviously don't care about this person enough.
That's the thing.
To be there for them.
She's using her sister and the wedding, which is a month away, as an excuse for her not to have to go to this funeral with her boyfriend. If you don't really have intentions of supporting your boyfriend, why are you with him like that? Like,
and also, I understand, like, I wasn't that type of bride, so it's not like I had people doing a bunch of shit for me.
Oh, hell no.
Whatever. No. But like, if you have stuff that you need to do between now and then, I'm sure that there are other people involved in the planning of that would be very happy to take over those things for you so you could go be there.
And it's not like they would have to be gone for 2 weeks. Like,
no, it's probably a couple days.
A few days at the most. Flight there, funeral, flight back. And, you know, and if he wanted to stay with his family longer, she could at least go attend the funeral with him, show her support, and then come back to be there for her sister. Like, there's ways around it. She just, as that one commenter said, she just didn't want to and tried to make excuses for it. So, yeah. Asshole. Yeah, asshole. We're ending all of those on an asshole note, but, you know, they're out there. You can't really get away from it. Some of those were a little more on the heavy side and not as funny as we typically do on our What the Fuck Wednesday. So to combat the feels, we have found a couple of hilarious obituaries to share for the little bit of a funny to end the day with.
Yay, I love funny obituaries. Oh man, this was a big one. So we're going to change this woman's name just to protect everyone. But let's dive in. Cindy Lou Who, 80, of Beaumont, Texas, finally ceased badgering her alleged sons on what they should do with their lives on April 2nd, 2023. To make sure things were complicated, she died in Houston, Texas at the MD Anderson Cancer Center, forcing her 2 sons to pay for her to have an understandably awkward Uber ride back to her home in Beaumont. But Cindy didn't go without a fight, nor without full makeup and bright red lipstick. A final gathering for creditors to meet our friends and confirm we don't have any money left will be held from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday, April 10th, 2023 in Beaumont. A celebration of Cindy's life and COVID jamboree, will be held at 10 a.m. Tuesday, April 11th at a church in Beaumont. We're not going to dox anybody here. Yes, Cindy was Catholic, but as with any long relationship, it's complicated. Following the service, guests and process servers are invited to attend what is sure to be a great party at the home of her alleged son. Alleged son in Beaumont. Anyone wearing a wire is asked to stay 1,000 feet away from said son, so there are no more quote-unquote misunderstandings. Born on August 20th, 1942 in Beaumont, Texas, Cindy was the favorite and also least favorite since she was the only one. Daughter of
her mom
and dad. Growing up, Cindy claimed to have an imaginary friend named Gimbal who she would push in the swing. Psychiatrist in the 50s, in between cigarettes and more cigarettes, quickly determined through leeches and electric shock therapy that Gimbal wasn't real, and then informed Cindy that she really had no friends at all. Undeterred, Cindy found her soon-to-be husband, whom those same psychiatrists, in between even more cigarettes, fortunately confirmed was indeed real, but insane. Ever the optimist, Cindy chose the actually insane over the imaginarily mundane and married said real person. Cindy worked hard to put him through law school, then later worked less hard as a homemaker for a few years until her lackluster children were born, whereupon she quickly and quite reasonably lost interest in parenting. I feel that so hard. Cindy, completely unqualified for the job, became a bail bondsman where she did her part to make sure soon-to-be felons remained at large while awaiting trial. You're welcome, Beaumont.
Love it.
Go ahead. I'm losing it.
Cindy's hat selection often betrayed her mood. When she wore them, she was certifiably crazy. Cindy was a staunch defender of animal rights, loving all creatures big and small, and, to a considerably lesser extent, also loving her two boys that continued to pester her for attention and on occasional microwaved meal. Cindy was an ally and advocate for LGBTQ, believing that all were created equal in love and life. She faithfully supported the Wounded Warriors Project as well as Meals on Wheels, regularly donating the tens of dollars she managed to save by using coupons at Kohl's. Cindy donated much of her time to delivering meals for Meals on Wheels, and she did it in a black convertible sports car. With her fierce attitude, red lipstick, and inability to drive the speed limit, she and her sports car are sure to be missed by most of the traffic cops in town. Cindy regularly got speeding tickets, once getting 2 tickets from the same cop at the same location in the same day. These were clearly political arrests, but her liberal agenda only blossomed. Cindy managed to put up with this earth longer than her parents, Steve and Marcy, as well as her off again and off again. No. Oh, that is what it said. Yeah. As well as her off again and off again husband, Samuel. Those left to cherish her memory and inherit her expired Kohl's coupons include her son and wife and other son and former partner. Martha thought her 2 kids were okay, but her favorite child, her dog, was... Can I say the dog's name? Yeah, I can say the dog's name. We're going to say the dog's name. But her favorite child, her dog, was Kaiser. Kaiser stands to inherit the vast estate of expired Kohl's coupons, along with various weird things she found at estate sales, which will now, once again, be sold at another estate sale. Circle of life. She's also survived by her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, cousin, more cousins, and a bunch more cousins. Cindy had countless friends, some of whom were not even imaginary. Cindy's friends... It's a whole bunch of names.
Yeah, it's just all of her friends. Lots and lots and lots of friends.
So we're going to say this. Cindy had countless friends, some of whom were not even imaginary. And there was a lot. A lot.
And more.
And even more after that.
Yeah.
In a totally passive-aggressive move, Cindy's ne'er-do-well sons booked an overly large venue to make it look like no one showed up to her funeral. Some flowers were welcome to dull the blow of that emptiness, but if charity is your gig, and it is tax season, then the family suggests skewing towards Cindy's causes. The Humane Society, Wounded Warriors, Southeast Texas Food Bank, or Human Rights Watch.
In memory of Cindy, the Sparks family asks that you put on your hat, your makeup, man or woman, it's all good, some Rolling Stones, and then say something weird that pops into your hat-laden head. Then love life, love others, and love without judgment. Live and love like Cindy did. And remember that you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. For those who can't be there in person to marvel at Cindy's beauty, please click the link below to watch the live stream. I love that there is a live stream.
Oh my God.
Of this funeral.
That broke me.
That is so funny. That was so many words. Obituaries are so expensive.
Yes. They
pay by the word.
Really loved. Yeah. They really love their mama.
Wow. Alleged sons. Alleged. Maybe.
And I love how in that huge paragraph of names of her friends, they even said, we've probably missed some.
Yeah. And then there was also the apple of Cindy's eye was a certain friend, the son she always wanted but never had. Like she definitely loved him more than she loved us.
Oh my gosh.
What a character. I love that. That was so good. Oh man.
Okay, we've got one more before we call it quits today.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next one we are going to affectionately refer to as Martha May. Martha May, professional clipper of coupons, baker of cookies, terror behind the wheel, champion of the underdog, ruthless card player, and self-described queen bitch, died on Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Martha May, the oldest of 4 siblings, was born in 1942 to her parents in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. She grew up in a modest home which still stands on the top of a hill where the Westville Road forks to the town of Westville in one direction and the old drive-in in the other. Growing up with very little taught her how to turn a dime into a dollar, a skill in which she'd excel her whole life. Martha May loved all children who weren't her own and loved her own children relative to how clean-shaven they were. She excelled at giving the finger, taking no shit, and laughing at jokes, preferably in the shade of blue. She did not excel at suffering fools, hiding her disdain, and putting her car in reverse. A voracious reader, she loved true crime, romance novels, and the odd political book. Trained as a hairdresser before she was married, she was always doing somebody's hair in her kitchen. So much so, her kitchen smelled of baking and perm solution.
Ew.
Yeah, that's not a great smell.
No.
Martha May had a busy life, but no matter what she was doing, she always made time to run her kids' lives as well. Her lifelong hobbies included painting, quilting, baking, gardening, hiking, and arson. Martha May loved tea and toast. The one thing she loved more than tea and toast was reheated tea and toast. She reheated tea by simply turning on the burner, often forgetting about it. She burned many a teapot and caused smoke damage countless times, leaving her kids with the impression that fanning the smoke alarm was a step in brewing tea. Martha May liked to volunteer and give back to the community. She was a lifelong volunteer at the theater in downtown, which her son suspected was her way of seeing all the shows for free. For all of Martha May's success in life, her crowning achievement occurred in the mid to late 80s when, left with mounting debt, no job, no car, and no driver's license, she turned it all around to the point in the early 90s that she had paid down her house, paid cash for all her cars, and got her 3 boys through university. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Martha May is survived by her 3 ungrateful sons, whose names she never got completely right and whose jokes she didn't completely understand. She loved them very much, even though at least one of them would ruin Christmas every year by coming home with facial hair, and never forgot that one disastrous Christmas in which all 3 sons showed up with beards. Everything she did for her sons. Martha May is survived by her 3 granddaughters. While her sons committed unspeakable crimes against humanity, her granddaughters could do no wrong. While her sons grew up on root vegetable and powdered milk, funneled directly into the bag to hide the fact that it was powdered, fooling nobody, her granddaughters were fed mountains of sugary snacks as far as the eye could see, including her world-famous cookies and cinnamon rolls. Her love for them was unmatched, as it should be. Martha May is survived by her sisters and her brother, who still owes her $600. Inside family joke. Sorry, brother. Martha May is also survived by an incredible number of close friends who cannot be named for fear of missing somebody. Thank you. Martha May, ever the penny pincher, decided to leave this world on the day Moncton went into red alert, her sons believed, to avoid paying for a funeral. But on the other hand, she always said that she didn't want a funeral. She wanted an Irish wake. She didn't want everybody moping around. She wanted a party. Martha May will get her celebration of life when COVID-19 is over. In lieu of flowers, the family asks that you do something nice for somebody else unexpectedly and without explanation. We love you, Mom. Aw, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck. Blah, 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 arrangements. Condolences, all of those things. That was so cute.
I love it.
These both sound like very fun ladies.
Yep.
That was so fun. I really like the obituaries.
It's a good little way to end off the funnies.
Heck yeah. That was a nice change of pace from all the assholes and non-assholes and funeral drama.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Now that we've all laughed and done our judging for the day, let's go over the riddle from earlier one more time. 2 cars were involved in an accident in the center of town. The man who was driving a little green car had overtaken a big black car. The driver had misjudged the distance between him and the oncoming traffic and had to swerve back in, causing the black car to swerve and crash into a shop window. When the occupants of the cars were examined, everyone in the green car was okay, but in the black car was one dead man. However, the driver of the green car was not charged with manslaughter. Why? I knew it. The answer, the black car was a hearse on the way to a funeral. Did you figure it out?
You know, I mean, whenever I do these riddles, I make them on topic. So that's a little bit of a hint.
I love it.
It's always going to be a hint with what we're talking about. So
absolutely. Like big black car, funeral.
I mean, I drive a big black car. I would love to drive a hearse. That would make me
They're
real
pretty
happy.
cool, actually. I really like it when you see the hearses that people like make over and then drive around. Those things are dope.
I'd have so much room for all the kids and their shit. Just saying.
Oh my God. You would be like the cool car for sure.
Oh no, then I don't want one because I don't want people to rely on me for anything.
Never mind.
Never mind.
You could just make it really creepy. You could creep it out so much that nobody would want to ride it.
Okay, now you're talking. Now this is a thing that I could get behind.
See?
Anybody got a hearse for sale?
Let us know. Reach out. Email us. Make sure to go to our website, weird.truecrime.com. Click on the merch store and get your limited edition Weird True Crime shirts, sweatshirts, all the goodies. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe to listen with no ads, do all the things. And if you like us, maybe consider leaving us a review because we haven't heard from anybody in a while since we took our hiatus. And new reviews would be lovely.
We were on hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I know. Sorry, but we're back. So if you like us, maybe, I don't know, consider giving us 5 stars and writing something nice. That would always make our day.
Yeah.
And we would love you for that. And we'd shout you out on the podcast and read it. So yeah. All that being said, until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices. Bye.
Goodbye. Martha May is survived by her sisters and her brother, who still owes her $600. Wow. Wow. No.
Okay.
I'm going to do that again.
Break.
Oh, man. This is a day quilt. Ooh.